Okay, I've got to start on this. You can see I've been working in here a little bit. So I'm going to demonstrate the technique. It's relatively simple. The thing is not to get into too big of a hurry with it. And you can really enjoy this. So you're going to be putting in, today what you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting in a lot of the, I'm calling it coral color. I'm actually using the coral. You could use a Quinn coral and add a little yellow to it if you wanted to. It'd be more like this. But I actually kind of like this coral here. We're going to put these lines in and we're going to add some of the coral tint. If you really study these lines, they're not a continuous, predictable line here. There's a lot of irregularities in here. There's a thick area. There's an area with a big wide space of light color. And it changes. See, this area is a lot lighter. So don't get caught up in trying to make the same shape all the way. Also, you will notice that some of these petals have got a little bit of a coral outline on them. Or in places, but not everywhere. So that would be your best move, just as a piece of art anyway, would be to put it some places, but not everywhere. Don't outline everything. You might even save the outlines until the very last, the outline edge of the petal until the very last. Also, I want you to notice that these lines help you see the contour of the shape of the flower. So they're very useful. Whenever you can employ contour lines, it's really helpful to putting some depth into something when you're only really working in 2 dimensions. All right. Seemed like I had something else I needed to tell you, but I don't remember what it was. Let's just start. So you can see I've started in several areas here. Let's do a start on a petal here. And, well, one of the things I'm noticing about this petal is it overlaps that petal. I believe the little one is the one in front. And the big one's the one in back. But you will see that where they overlap, we're getting an extra heavy coral area. So we want to keep that in mind. You might like to put in a few pencil lines if it will help you keep your place. Now, if you don't need the pencil lines, don't do them. And if you do need the pencil lines, try to keep them as light as you can. There's kind of a jagged area here. Maybe I'll just do a little bit of a dotted line. You probably can't see this on the camera. You can see, though, that I'm making some lines. All right, let's go like that. So I have coral here, and it's pretty soupy. But it's not real thin. Well, we'll see what it looks like. Oh, I know. Here, got other colors on this, but let's just see what it looks like right there. That's a pretty good example about how dark to be, I think. But remember, no matter what you've got, you can adjust it some. As long as you don't go too dark. I'd rather you went too light than too dark. So, this area is darker and it's more blended, but I can see some lines in it. Now, I don't want to make too many lines. Depends how fast you can work before you go back and wet your brush, wash it out, and add water. Again, some of this will depend on how wet the paint was that you already put down. Mine was pretty wet, so it's flowing a lot. And let's go in and let's soften this end of the lines. Just pull them out this way a little bit. Okay. So this is sort of, now I'm going to show you more the way to start a petal. Some of these lines, they don't come from down here. They're actually branching off of the center area right here. And they're swinging out like this. The petal has some color to it already, and then it has some lines also. And as you can see, my lines are far from perfect. Boy, are they ever far from perfect. But that's okay, as long as I get to them before they dry. Because I want to soften them. See, they're holding some of their character, and I would rather leave a few spaces that don't have extra water on it. So you can see that I'm getting a nice soft look there. But it's still got some lines in it. Later, if I decide it needs to be darker or needs the lines to be stronger, I can come back in and work on it a little bit more. This center part has got a little bit of a, kind of a coral shadow. So I'll take some of the extra water off of the brush. Remember, if you've got more color down or more water down than you want, you squeeze the brush out and pull some of it up. So, okay, I'm going to let that be drying. But you can see I've got some basic stuff in it. This is a lighter petal. Some of these areas are considerably darker. Some of them get really dark. So now this is a petal that I'd done previously, and this is how much I'd done to it. You can see the contour lines tell you a lot about the shaping on this petal, but it's way too light. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to deepen some of the lines that appear to me to be darker lines. This is really going to be a pretty short video. There's a lot of work to do, but you'll get the idea of what it is pretty quickly, I think. So, see, I've got those lines. They're still a little strong. I want them to soften and to, I can play with this color and move it a little bit. Like I said, I can suck it up or I can put more down. Okay. I like these little gaps right in here. I'm going to keep those. See those little lighter areas with the pink showing through? I think that looks pretty good there. This is really remarkably easy to do. So this whole area here is a little bit darker also, and it also has a few lines in it that are stronger, although not near as much as on the other side for whatever reason. Okay, so once again, I'm going to get that damp, and I can bleed it out as much as I want or leave some little light crisp areas in there where I want them. So that's looking pretty good. I don't like what this shape is doing right here. I think I need to make it merge back in there a little bit, soften, and I'm just going to use the coral to do it for now. It may need some other colors on it later, I don't know. Okay, see how that's done? And we've got this. This is drying. Let's look at some dark areas. So I've already worked on this, and part of it is I just flat went in with the coral and did some shaping. See, this could still get darker and stronger right in here. Here's one of those little light colored stripes coming right there. By the way, I made a mistake with where I masked and what I left light. But I don't care a whole lot. I can pretend that that's the way the flower is and no one will notice a difference. You can make some mistakes on this. This was one of my favorite things when we did that caladium, was making some little lines. We made a different kind of line, but making some little lines and then breaking into them with some water, and it just watch the magic happen. And you can always also blot if you want. Whatever you think is going to give you the best effect. So if you want it to be a little bit lighter, you could blot it. Okay. There is going to be some shadow up in here, and that again will be the coral when we put the coral on top of the green. But we're going to, I guess we'll go ahead and do that while I've got the masking down. Maybe that would be the better choice. Okay. So this is everything I've done so far has been on dry paper. I forgot to mention that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use coral. Coral on top of the green is going to be, well, shady. Let's call it that, shady, huh? So let's do that, and then let's soften these edges. Oh, wait a minute. I wanted to keep that green kind of bright right there. I forgot. So, you see how that recedes now and becomes darker? This isn't near dark enough. So, I'm going to come in, and there's a line right here. This is the back of the petal right there. And then this is the underneath, and the underneath gets a lot darker. And you really can't see the stripes there. Or if you can, they're kind of going this way. This is kind of fun. This is something where I'm concentrating, but I'm not like having to just drive my brains into the ground trying to concentrate. And here, see, it comes over and makes a little curve. Again, that's where those contour lines tell you the direction that the petal, it's coming from back around that way. But you don't want to leave all that like that. That's bad, okay? But all you have to do is break it up a little bit. I think I'll blot this one. Oh. Yeah. Okay. I can live with that. Let's come back over to this petal now. So you're getting the idea. Maybe this is dried, so maybe I'll make some darker lines on top of some of those lines. Okay, and most of this, I want this to go a lot softer. There's probably a little pink water left in my brush too, besides what I'm moving around here from the stripes. But you see there's still stripes in there. I'm being very, very gentle with the brush and just enough water that I'm not washing them out. See, that's pretty nice there. Let's go back in here with just a little bit more, I think. Remember, no one's looking at that original to see how accurate you were. The idea of the original is for you to get the feel of what the flower is doing. And you determine what items are important to make this the piece of art you want it to be. In my opinion, I want the contour lines and I want some interesting variation in each area. You might have a little different design in mind. Maybe you want to be a little stronger, a little more graphic with it. I don't know. This is, by the way, a number 6 silver, black velvet brush. It's best to have something with a pretty decent point on it. Might want to pull a little more yellow green up in there. I haven't decided. I kind of like though that bit of phthalo green there, but see, I could use some darker spots. The flower's got some darker areas there, so I may go back and add stuff in there. Don't try to get everywhere at once. So this, I think this could still use, you know what, I don't like that spot right there. If it's still not set, maybe I could blot it. Nah, I'll live with it. I could always go break it up with a sponge or something, but okay, let's come back to this one. You can see where I started this. And this could be quite a bit stronger. And I could make this a paler, more delicate flower, obviously, than what I have. And just by putting some more straps in here, going the same direction, and maybe they don't hit quite the same place, so it kind of makes more stripes, actually. And down here, the color looks more solid. So let's make a little solid place there, and let's bleed that out. Remember, you should only do little bits of this and then soften the edges. Don't try to keep, got an area there that doesn't line up like the reality. I don't think I'm going to be concerned with it. I think I'll put an edge on this one. I don't really see an edge there. In fact, there wouldn't be an edge showing here because that's not the edge of the flower. But I think I'll do that right there. Oh, see, I had a little bit of shading in here. And some of these areas may need some, some duller shading color later on. We could have done that first, or we could do that last. I think it's better to probably do it last. It's so much easier to make it dull than it is to make it bright. So I would rather go with my brighter colors down first and then see how much I want to shade them or make them a little duller. See, that's really pretty coarse. It's not a wonderful job, but it's probably going to work. That's the amazing thing about this, because when you drop in the water, as long as you do it soon enough, See, these nice things start to happen. I think I'm going to change the direction of that. I've got the center line coming there, and then I've got it diverted and coming off here, and the two don't meet. I'll just reroute it a little bit. See, you could keep changing stuff up. Okay. I thought I would start one that's dark, because I had this one already started. And, well, my temptation is to keep working on this. This is going to get darker as it comes further up in under the flower. So, see, you can do this kind of thing. See how I quit talking there? I forgot that y'all were here. And when you really get into doing a piece of art, you quite frankly frequently forget. So this area right here needs a lot more shadow on it. I'm going to put a lot more red in it. And then later on, I'll probably put some green into it. But not right now. So, I'm giving myself some shadow there. Okay, so I was going to come over here. These stamens are different. I guess that flower is a different sex from that flower. I don't really know. When it comes to the sex of flowers, I don't know much. Okay, so there's this little area right there. You want to get it all the way up to the edges, or pretty close. I'm not going to put a lot of water in there because I almost filled this in anyway, because it's a really dark area. Here's another area that's extra dark right there. See, and then it gets lighter. So I'll just come in here. Again, you could use some pencil lines if you'd like, to keep you from getting lost. So what I'm going to do with this area is going to go pretty dark. I'm going to just pull in lines like that. I could do that. Let's soften at the edges first. I'm supposed to have white in here. Kind of went down here a little too far. You can see that's really just destroying me that I did that. Okay, so let's add a little water in here. In fact, now this has been setting a few seconds. So that would be a good time. I like these little spaces in here. But let's... Oh, I took up too much. Well, so what? I'll come back and work on top of it later. It'll look great. That's actually kind of a good place there. I could outline this petal right here. The thing is to have a good point. Whoop, I hit water. Forgot there was water there. Do this when it's dry. Don't do what I just did. Well, this shouldn't be an outline there either. So you do have to pay attention to what you're doing. Okay, that's actually going to be a good area there. So let's try something else here. This is the number 6. The number 6 of you know, Black Velvet. I keep wanting to say Black Magic. This is a rat whisker brush. This is a pretty inexpensive one. Bill Dale gave me this one. So this is a little rat whisker brush. It's just got a stiffer tip on it. And they're pretty fun to work with. You can load it up. Let's see here. You can load it up. I want to be careful not to load it up too much, but that's all natural hair. Harvested while the rat is still living, they tell me. Okay, so let's see how this does. Oh my, that will make... Sorry, I have to do my hand like this. That makes a nice fine line. You see, and it doesn't hurt to have little skips in these lines. You don't have to make them all continuous, not by any means. Especially if you want them to, you want the lines to stay. You know, you're not going to wash half of it out. You want skips in it. All right, so I don't know how this will do for laying water in. It does okay. I like the Black Velvet more when I laid the water in. In fact, that is kind of set in there. I'm not happy with that. I will go back and add more to it later. And I will, because those stripes are a little too prominent. Now, did the rat whisker cause that? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's do a little more. We'll do less, though. We'll give it so that it doesn't have time to dry. But that's a finer line. And a finer line is going to dry faster, right? So you have to keep that in mind. The more paint that goes down on that line, the longer it takes it to dry. So I wonder, this is still damp. I wonder what this will do. See, that's spreading. And so I'm putting it in between the other lines. It's not a bad effect there. So the thing is, you really have a lot of chance to make changes. Now, I intentionally did not mask these. And we may all live to regret it. I'm going to paint around that. It's all in shadow. I have more yellow in my shadows. See, there's not that much yellow in the shadows, really, but I like yellows, and so I don't care. I'm hearing strange noises out there. What you think, Sophie? Huh? And here, I can't really see the direction of the lines. They don't show up that well. And I probably should just be washing color in and not even drawing lines there. I could. Get that a little wetter here. So, it's been pointed out to me that I did not draw these stamens accurately. And my answer to that is, oh well. Okay. I'm happy with the way this is going. There's going to have to be more shadows in it at some point. But let's see what happens with this down here. Well, this little deal down here really doesn't show you any stripes at all, does it? But it does show you this whole area has got more red in it. Oh, not that much red, though. You can pull a little color up if you want to. See, I don't want, this is smoother looking. Would rather that was smooth. But there is a little lighter area right up under there where you would least expect it to be. Probably a stripy part of the flower, maybe some reflected light, maybe some of both. You know, two things can happen at once. This was supposed to be green down here. Oh well. Okay, so I'm not going to finish this part on camera, but what I would ask you to do is only work with the coral, or the coral with a little yellow mixed into it, the new gamboge, and then work with stripes, little bits of shadow, but don't finish, okay? Please don't finish, save that. So it's going to be cool looking. I think, I'm getting ahead of myself now, but I think that this flower is going to need some reds in here somewhere, and I've already added a little bit of coral right in here. Now I'm adding a little bit more. And I'll leave some twinkles of blue coming through. That may go better with the flower than just the blue, although I really like having the blue. I can experiment on these because I'm doing 4 of them, you know. We'll see. You may have other ideas too. You may have some real good ideas about this background. A lot of people have said they don't like this. This also you know, kind of a light orange, peachy colored carpet. I don't have any great ideas here right now. So maybe somebody will send me some suggestions. If not, I'll see if somebody will do something really good in class and I'll steal their idea from them. Okay, until next week. Bye. Oh, did I make it clear? You do finish all these stripy areas and stuff on all the flowers. I just didn't do it here. But I think you know how now. Bye.